All right. Good afternoon, colleagues. Everyone, good afternoon, and welcome to today's tips and tricks. So today we'll be looking at a topic that is very important. This is 27th edition of the tips and tricks, and I hope that you will leave with something from this session. So I welcome you. My name is Nwaru, and I am the host of this what we call clinical research clinic, actually. All right. So welcome. Let me bring back my slide. I will do what I do first, so that there will be some interaction we can have in this session. So I will send you out to the breakout sessions. All right. I will create 3 groups. And so please, I will encourage you to take a picture of what you see in front of you. Take a picture of it. And whichever group you fall into, those are the things you'll be looking at. So this is the topic for today. Failure, the never-ending learning curve. Never-ending learning curve. So take a picture of this, and whichever group you fall into, you discuss what you find on the screen. Failure is an important topic, often not discussed, perhaps because it's often viewed as a negative experience, if I may use that. But we are going to discuss it because we are scientists. Scientists are not afraid of discussing anything at all. So we are going to discuss it today and see what we can learn from it. Perhaps there is something to learn. Perhaps there is something to learn. So we see. All right. So let me create the breakout sessions, 3 breakout groups, and whichever you fall into, it is done automatically from here. I will do it automatically. So you fall into one of those 3. And then if you fall out, because some people will usually have network challenges, if you fall out and you still want to go back to the group you were before, just let us know. You can put a text, because you are muted. You can put a text on the chat box that you fell out. You want to go back to your group. Which group is that? Group 1 or group 2 or group 3? All right. So do that. Okay. I've created the groups, and I will just name it. Okay, so the groups are opened. You can join your group now, and I'll give you 15 minutes. 15 minutes time, I will call you back. All right? I'll call you back. You have no preference of which group to be. You have no preference. Okay, it's automatically done. So don't indicate any preference. If you fall out of any of the groups you are, then you come back, you let me know which group you were. So please join your group. Join your group. See you in 15 minutes. All right, thank you. Welcome back from the breakout sessions. Let's see. And apologies, I didn't give the instruction that each group should appoint somebody to come and summarize what they have discussed. Although I realize that you all know that I do that, so I guess you are all prepared. Is there anyone to help out with group number one? Group number one. Group number one. Group number two. All right, I have Margaret. Yes, you can unmute Margaret and tell us which group you were and what are your thoughts.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I'll be representing group number 2. So we have 3 questions. Number 1, what is scientific success? We agree that achieving your set objectives, when you are able to achieve the objectives that you have set for yourselves or the objectives of being a scientist, when you're able to achieve it, that is when you are a successful scientist. Then the second one, what ingredients constitute scientific success? Now we have a number of ingredients that we highlighted. We have 5 of them. Number 1, when your objectives is SMART, that is specific, is measurable, is achievable, is realistic, and is time-bound, when your objectives satisfy those conditions. When your science is reproducible, reproducibility is another constituent. When you use the right methodology, this in conducting your research as a scientist, there are appropriate methodology. So when you make use of the right methodology, then that is an ingredient. Also, when you're able to publish your findings, when you do your research and have findings, you make it available to people that need to use it. So you publish your findings. Also, you need to collaborate with other scientists. You are not just doing whatever you are doing. That's the second question. Then the third question is, at what time do you say a scientist is successful? Of course, different scientists are at different levels. So when you are making impact at your own level, when your work, when your science start to make impact, then you can say you are successful as a scientist. And also when your work is being able to translate into policies, not just ending up on the shelves. So when you do your research and your findings are able they get translated to policies, policymakers can make use of your research finding, then we can say that such a scientist is successful. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Margaret, for that or for those thoughts. All right, anyone from group number 3? Anyone from group number 3 to help us? Okay, I have Luca Jacob Jiwu. Luca, meet yourself and tell us what you have for your group.
Okay. On behalf of Group 3, here are our thoughts that we put together regarding the questions given to us. We have 4 questions. 1, have you ever failed in your scientific journey? And the group unanimously shared their various experiences. So the answer is yes. So the second part of the question now is in what specific ways? We found out from our this failure happen at individual level and corporate body, corporate levels as well. And at the corporate, at the personal or individual level, we experience failure from the point of possibly sending a paper with the hope that it will be accepted because to you, you have done something really great, but just for it to be rejected. And you will see that as a failure, but what is the reaction? And this also happened at the corporate level as an institution. You could apply for a grant, you applied for commissioning of a project and things like that, just for it to be declined. So what is the reaction, which is the third component of the question now? What do we react or how do we feel when we experience failure? The reactions that we got as responses from the group is that they feel really down, but however, with the response received, pointing out to the areas that needed further improvement, it gives us a greater joy and makes us better. So the reaction at the end of the day is not that of discouragement or giving up, but to do more, to strive further. So the last part is in all of this, what would be the alternative to failure? And our group agrees that alternative to failure within the context of this discussion will be improvement and success. Because if there is no failure within the context of what we pointed out, there will be no improvement and there will be no success. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Luca Jacob, for your presentation, for your group.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Let me get some people in. Yeah, the question of failure is an important question. And as I indicated when I started, is something that many people may be afraid of. Yeah. Some people, it can actually destabilize them. Well, do I say some people, all of us? I don't know if there's anybody here who is not destabilized when you fail. Of course, if you look at the literature, you will discover that there are different types of failures or different levels of failures. All right. You have the basic level of failure, which doesn't really have any grave impact. All right, any grave impact. But you can go to the point where you have some complex failure. Even though they are unavoidable, their impact can have very tremendous effect on the system, individual that has experienced this. Regardless, this session, I'm not going to tell you something new that you didn't know, but to remind you of the realities that we face as scientists. And this is important because, as you see, the scientific journey is full of, well, I don't know if they use the same thing in other places, but it's full of what they call potholes. Potholes. You know, you're driving and depending on which country you come from. But in those days, when I was growing up in my country, Nigeria, you discover that the roads are not repaired. So if you're driving after 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters, you have to slow down because there are potholes on the road. Sometimes in the night, when there is no light, street light, if you don't know that road and you're speeding, you enter the potholes, and it doesn't feel so good when you have those kind of situations. So that's what I try to describe, that the scientific journey is full of potholes of failure. And the best part to overcome is to know that that is a reality. All right. What is failure? Lack of success. That is number one. Simply defined, situation or occurrence in which something is not working as it should. Number three, occurrence in which someone does not do something that should be done. Number three, I want you to take note of number three. Then number four, occurrence in which crops do not grow and produce food in the normal way. That is Britannica Dictionary. Failure is the state of not meeting a desirable or intended objective and may be viewed as the opposite of success. I say you should take note of number three because failure is not the same thing as carelessness. Number three leans towards carelessness. Avoidable mistakes. No. I'm trying to emphasize this because you need to differentiate failure. Failure we are talking about here is that situation whereby you have an expectation and you have put the different ingredients, use the right tools, use the right ingredients, but something does not still come out the way you expected. Not because you have not done what you are supposed to do, but because things perhaps didn't go the way they should go, or your expectations were actually not tenable. And that is what happens in science, and that is the beauty that we continue to learn. Because we may know something today, and based on what we know, we take certain steps, but eventually the steps we take will result in something else than what we're expecting. And that is what we did last month, scientific ignorance. Why I'm emphasizing number three is that many, and forgive me by saying that, many African scientists, that is my experience, many, I didn't say most, I didn't say majority, I said many, fail because of number three. So we need to distinguish that. So you see your friend who is crying, oh, you know what happened? I didn't get that. That your friend might have done number two. Your friend might be in number two. And then you start crying with your friend, that is the way it happened to me. I don't know this. But what you did is number three. You are not using the right tools. You are just making mistakes. You are careless. You were sleeping when you should be awake. You were awake when you're supposed to be sleeping. You are not doing things the way they should. You are not following instructions. If you don't do that, there will be failure. But that failure should be differentiated from failure when the things have been done right. That is what we are talking about this afternoon. So please, I just want to differentiate that. I hope you get the point I'm making. I hope you understand the point I'm making. Right. It's important that we get that right. But before I move forward, I want to discourage you from taking the steps of number 3, procrastination, carelessness, living below your abilities. Yes, you can live below your abilities, but you need to live up to your abilities or strive to go beyond your abilities as well. Because group number 3, when they were presenting, they mentioned something pertinent. They said, well, you send your paper and the journal comes with this decision that hits you during the weekend, and you go home, your baby just hugs you, please leave me alone, I'm not feeling. Your husband gives you a kiss, please, 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 I'm not in the mood. Yeah. Goodness me. You put some walls around you. But why did you fail? Did you do the right thing? Did you follow instruction? You see, ASFI has launched a journal. ASFI has launched a journal, and things can work well if we all cooperate. But I tell you, some of the things, there have been several submissions, and I tell you, I don't know if there is any of those submissions that was not returned back to the author. I don't know if there is any of those that was not returned to the authors who wrote those papers to correct and ensure they follow the journal's instruction. I don't know if there is any of those that was not returned. And that is not good. In fact, some of them have been returned up to 2 or 3 times because of number 3. You are not doing something that ought to be done. If you go to the journal website, the instructions are clearly specified. How to format, how to arrange your references, how to arrange the manuscript. So easy, so that you make your life easy. And so what happens is that the editorial staff looks at the papers and says, well, this is not in our structure. Please work on this, work on this, work on this. Gives you instructions, please. And then gives you instruction on how to return it back. If you correct it, return it in this way. And what happens is that somebody takes that and replies, okay, thank you very much, I will do as you have said. And the next day, the person returns the same file that the editorial staff has said correct. And some people, after they have done, they come back, said, please, I've finished my corrections. How do I return it? How do I send it back to you? Please, it is in the email I sent to you. Oh. And the person comes back the next day. I've been trying to return this. I don't know how to return it. I don't know how to, where do I submit it back? You see, what is happening here is that, well, do I say it? Number 3. For those who are number 3, we're not talking about you. That's for something fundamentally wrong with your attitude to life. Because you shouldn't be in that space where because the fact is that those you are bombing with those emails, they are dealing with a lot of things. You're not the only one. And what happened is that I have noticed that some of the papers have been rejected. Why? They have not been sent to peer review because the authors have been so careless not to follow instructions they have been asked to follow to put their papers in order. And so what happens is that you fail and you go home. Your mood changes. But what changed your mood? Those around may not, I don't know, this journal, I don't know what they're doing. But the fact is that they actually know what they're doing. The fact is that you don't know what you are doing. and then you fail. Well, I will send it to another journal, and the same journal you send it to now comes back and says, oh, please, there's something this, and they have come again. You see, they have come again. That is something I experienced in the, what is wrong with these people? All right. So that you wouldn't say I'm talking too much on this. So we're talking about failure of those who are living to expectation, those who are putting the square pegs in the square holes. All right. And just to say that there are ways to do and to get the right result. And there are also ways to do and to get the wrong result. So we can fail the two. It's just what I have just said now. Inattention, deviance, process inadequacy, lack of ability. No, let's forget about these people and talk about things that happen in nature. You have put the right ingredient, put the right tools. But how do you deal with it? It's not that you are not able, you are able. All right? You have put, so what happens is that this area becomes the conduit of learning. A place where you are refined, a place where you begin to appreciate the failure. You see here it calls blameworthy. This is a place of crying, where you weep out tears and someone asks you, why are you crying? You can't even explain it. It's inside, you know what you have done. You can't live to say, well, this is why I have failed. But in this area, you appreciate failure. You appreciate it because you see it as a stepping stone to fine-tune, to become better. Those in this area require some help, but most often they are not ready for those help because the help will lead to changes. And some of those changes, if they have become comfortable with where they are, some of those changes will not be realistic. All right? So there are different reasons to fail. Failure to success. What most people think that there is a differentiation. So there is a straight line, and you can divide people or divide experiences into success or failure. But on the right side is what successful people think. What is the difference? Successful people have many failures along the way, but there's something they are seeing. This is what they are seeing. They focus and they know where they're going, and they know that the failures they're encountering are not actually failures. They are what? They are lessons. They are stepping stones. They are abilities being built. They are persistence being built. They are perseverance. They know that these things are the foods they eat until they get there. In SF5, when we started, at the end of each course, we introduce some mentoring groups in which we support people to solidify the skills they have learned. Yeah, the first meeting, you see 40 people, 30 people. The second meeting, you see 20 people. The third meeting, you see 10 people. The fourth meeting, 3 people. Where are others? The fifth meeting, 2 people. The sixth meeting, 1 person. It's closed. The door is closed. You see, these people here, they know what they want. But these people here who think in this way, they will drop out. They will drop. They will drop. Let me go back to, yeah. I like the picture on the right. What successful people do. Unsuccessful people. They carry failure on their head. Successful people, they march on it. They march and they carry it because it's an embodiment of experience. One of my teaching methods for my mentees, for my students I supervise, one of the teaching methods I use is failure to success. And of course, this sometimes depends on who is before me. So when we meet the first time, I try to provide a profile of you in my head, what kind of person you are. Then I can help you. And any of the students, I have used the strategy of failure to success comes out good. So what I do is that I give them a task to fail. And that does a number of things. It calls their attention to a need. It helps to bring down pride because it will expose you. It will establish humility. And then it will help you to learn. Failure is important. All right, this is Thomas Edison. You know, he was one that brought what? The light bulb. After how many trials? He tried many times. We're counting thousands. But look at what he said. I have not failed. When people start criticizing, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that wouldn't work. When I have tried it 1,000 times, I have not failed, but I have found 10,000 ways that will not work. And such a person, if you bring him before the audience to tell experience, he does not need to write on the board. He just stands here, he tells you. He can take out of the 1,000 fails, he can take 5 and tell you what happens. And those 5 will be full of wisdom, powerful wisdom he has learned. Why? Because he failed. Not just because he failed, but because he went into failure with a mindset to learn, a mindset to do well, to succeed. And that is a game changer. This is the story. I like this story so much. The digital camera story as we have it today. It's on your phone. I have seen pens that have, so you can put it as necklace, earrings. You can wear them in different ways. So they have been reduced to very tiny objects. But that is not the story. This is where the story started. This is where the story. Look at how it used to weigh 3.6 kilograms, almost 4 kilograms. Megapixel 0.01. The ones you have on your phone, some are up to more than 10 megapixels today. 3.6 kilograms. How long will if you are to cover a birthday party or a wedding party or what occasion, by the time you finish using this, something has happened to you. That night you will sleep and sleep very well. Why? Because your bones are broken. You are so tired. And so people started talking, criticizing. But it moved and moved and moved. He received lots of criticism. And he started in the 70s. But look at 2009, National Medal of Technology and Innovation, he got. 2011, inducted National Investors Hall of Fame. 2012, Progress Medal, Royal Photographic Society. 2018, elected fellow National Academy of Invention. I mean, these statistics, I took them 2020. Perhaps he has been receiving more. You see why? Because he had a mindset. He set out and he carried along with him failure. He made failure his friend. And you know the failure I'm talking about, not number 3 from Britannica Dictionary. He carried that baggage. He learned every criticism he received was an avenue to ask himself, what is that guy saying? Can I implement it? Not to say, please don't tell me, you don't even know what I'm doing. So why, who asked for advice? Please, no. He said there were criticisms. And he learned. That is what failure does. Did he cry? Maybe sometimes. Did he feel like giving up? Maybe sometimes. Yes. But there was something else that he was carrying. I am in the journey. He has seen this even before he started. He has seen this. He has seen the future. He knows I have to be going. He knows that the failures are normal. He knows that I will keep on improving. I'll keep on becoming better. The scientific process is the same. From question formulation, developing your research topic, the hypothesis, collecting your data, doing all sorts of things, analyzing, reporting. There is failure. Getting the money for these activities, there is failure. There is failure. There is failure. There is failure. So it's not, and well, I'm not talking about number 3. I'm talking about real failure for those who, yeah. This is a Swedish grant-giving foundation. Here it says success rate of the grant, 14.4% for women, 13.6% for men, and overall 14%. So if 1,000 people apply, only 140 people will get it. If 10,000 people apply, only 1,400 people will get it. If 100,000 people apply, only 14,000 people will get it. That's not a lot. What happened to the rest? Well, some of them are in the group number 3 I mentioned. Some are in group number 2, some are in group number 4. But we are still counted all as, but if you dig deeper, you begin to see that those in group number 2 and 3, or number 4, are actually not because they did something wrong, or perhaps the money the foundation has could not accommodate them. The acceptance rate for leading journals in the world is less than 20%. Some of those who are submitting to ASF5 Research Journal are disappointed too. But you know, we have said it from beginning, we are out for excellence. So those who fall in that group number 3, count yourself out because you'll be disappointed. And what is required is to join the bandwagon of those who strive for excellence. Join them. Join us in that journey. Failure is a skill. Make sure you get good at it. Oh my goodness. It means that those in group number 3 can migrate. Those in group number 2, group number 4 can become better. There is no static position for anyone because failure is a skill. I don't know where you are in your own career. I don't know if that is where you want to be. I don't know. But I tell you something. That if you believe you will do better, it will happen to you. Because I believe will give you the motivation to pick the tools that you need to do well. I left my home country. This is 21 years ago. Well, that reminds me that I'm not that young anymore. Goodness me. Maybe I will take this night to think about it. Well, that is by the way, that's for me. But I set out, I made friends, I lost friends, but I tell you, the challenge I got in this part of the world put me in a pedestal to challenge myself and ask myself, can we be better? Can we be like these people? Is it possible? How can we do this? You know? And I tell you, I offended many people. I offended. And many of those I offended in those days have come back to me to say, you were actually right. You were actually right. You were actually right. I have an intern some time ago, before the COVID and during the COVID. And for some time we have not related. 2 weeks ago, he sent me an email. Was it 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago, he sent me an email. I would like to talk to you. And then we made good appointment and I talked to him. He said, well, you know, I've been doing this, I've been doing that, I've been doing that. But the more I continue to do, the more what you told me some years ago keep ringing in my head, and have come to realize that, Bright, you are right. You're right. Now I want to be serious with some of these things. I said, okay, that's good. I mean, he's not the only one. But you see, the point there is success is not just a product you run to go and fetch. Success is a process that is full of failures. And I tell you, those failures represent harsh environment decisions you make. But eventually, if you persist, you will come to that point. And today, I'm happy for a lot of things. And one of the things I'm happy for is that is peace I have. That is peace I have. And that peace is as a result that I didn't take another trajectory before now. So the last 20 years, the university where I finished from my bachelor's, because my first degree I left, and I was happy. I think about 6 years ago, I was very silent doing my thing, doing it very silently. A few people knew where I was, what I was doing. I'm very silent. But I was happy 6 years ago. I think it was 6 years ago. The university where I finished from my country, I got a call from the vice chancellor. He called me. And we used to be very good friends. So he told me something. He said that the university set a committee to try to identify the alumni who are free from this university, who have moved on, who are doing well. And as a committee they want to do something for them. All right. And he said, your name came up. I said, oh, wow. So I'm calling you to ask if you would allow us to profile you in our calendar for next year. We want to dedicate 1 month for each of those. I said, wow. Wow. I didn't know somebody was watching me. I didn't know that. But one thing is that I am happy today because I didn't take other decisions that were around me. I persisted. I faced failure in different dimensions, realizing that it is integral. It is how we do things. All right? And it is only when we engage in those opportunities that they provide us can we reach our destination joyfully. All right? So every failure is a step to success. I want to encourage you this afternoon to embrace it and know that not taking number 3, let me emphasize that again, but putting in your best. That's all I have for you this afternoon. But before you go, let me just remind you, we are very much looking forward to what this year offers with regards to our conference. It's going to be loud. It's going to be loud. Unleashing innovation in African research, revolutionizing perspectives. We have full packed program. Registration is open and I invite you. The call for abstract is out. Please bring those beautiful abstracts. Let's come together to encourage ourselves. This Sunday, making innovation research work. This is an open discussion. Come and bring your idea. Money is an issue for everybody. What is your experience? What are your challenges? How have you sought it? Come and share, come and learn, come and collaborate, come and interact. Yes, the call for paper submission to the first edition of ASFI Research Journal will end on Sunday. There is no well I know my colleagues Africans, you will see the system will shut down on Sunday because that is the day everybody will be submit. In fact, some people will submit on Monday and they will say, well, I have been trying for 1 week now. Please do it and submit now. So it's an honor that we are giving to make it free, and that is to show you that we are happy to play our role to ensure that Africans have no barriers to publishing. So for this first edition, it is free publication. After that, we have to support the staff that are doing the hard work. So If you want to take this opportunity, do so and submit before the end of Sunday. The papers, many of them are being reviewed. Some people have received their decision already. We want to ensure we do it and do it timely. Do it timely. The course, making sense of data. Making sense of data. If you do not know how to process data, how to think about data, I just want to encourage you, do so now before the world runs out and you're behind. So please do your best to attend this course. It will give you some tools that you will need to live in the current world we are living. So the 28th edition will be persistence, the fuel that propels success. I've talked about failure this month. Next edition will be persistence. Persistence. All right. Let me let me see, you can unmute yourself. That is all I have for you today. Thank you for coming, and I wish you a wonderful weekend. So you can unmute yourself, is because I know some people wouldn't want to go silently. So please.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Bro.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the inspiring lecture.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
You too.
We wish you same.
Thank you very much.
Yes, SFI Research Journal is a multidisciplinary journal, so you can submit from any field at all, any field. All right, bye for now.